Extreme Gaming Podcast. Quick breaks.
Again, Mark is the head of a group or company or whatever called GameHo. That's GAMEHO.io. I really found GameHo quite by accident. I was just kind of cruising around looking for different things. And GameHo popped up, and I'm just going like, seriously. So I'm sitting there reading this, and I'm seeing where we have always said amongst us here at the podcast that we wish we could, not have to pay so much for servers, because we'll play like maybe a few days or a week intensely, let's say, and then we got stuff to do, man. It's, there's always stuff to do, family, other things, and we won't play for 3 weeks, but we got to pay anyway. And then we always used to say, well, it'd be nice if you could just pay as you go. And all of a sudden, so when I was cruising the internet and I found GameHo.io, I'm going like, really? I said, this guy's really doing what we were talking about. So I'm going to let you explain a little, Martek, but I just kind of want to start off with a question. I mean, when did GameHo become real?
It became real during COVID. I was playing way more, and I was playing with buddies at work. So much like you, the same conversation occurred that, you pay for a server, and that server just keeps running for entire month, whether you play or not. So eventually I started knocking on a solution for us, but it was good enough. So, started promoting it outside, and it's slowly growing. Generally the idea is, the general idea that you just pay for an hour, return to whatever you were doing, then a week later you pay yet again for an hour. It's like most of the tech starts working this way.
Okay.
Much of the tech is already going this way, that you pay for usage, that you don't have to sort of subscribe for the whole for a whole period. You can just use some stuff for a bit and move on. Yeah.
What's your background that you got to do this or decided to do this or whatever?
I'm a software engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, in my day job, I'm doing funny software projects and also as a hobby.
It must be fun. What you said you did this in COVID. Are you hosting servers of your own? Is that how this is working, or?
No. I'm using cloud services. So you just utilize the cloud service offerings, and if the cloud service offering allows you to have use pay-per usage, so pay per hour. So I just sort of move that cost towards my customers, and that's kind of it, with a bit of margin, but that's understandable.
How well is this happening? How successful have you been since then?
It's slowly growing. It's after school project. So I have a day job that I'm kind of doing now for 4 days a week. So my the ideal situation is that I move even more outside of my day job and into GameHo. So I just kind of smoothly move into GameHo. But yeah, so far it's growing. It's I'm getting it doesn't matter how many people. I was super worried about I never had a customer facing product or anything like that. So all my experiences are from other people or whatever other people tell me, and usually they'll tell you customers are the worst and it's horrible. No, I think if you're running a small organic product, the customers are pretty great. I get a lot of super cool emails, even if something is slightly wrong, or once the person knows that it's just one person doing this whole thing, and that person actually read whatever complaint or whatever request I had on Discord and actually did something, they're usually pretty happy.
Can you how do you work out the hours that you are paid? like from active versus paused servers that you use?
Yeah, so okay, yeah. This is kind of like the important but like technical bit. So I'm actually like monitoring all the servers, and I know whenever somebody joins or disconnects, right? And yeah, when you disconnect, when everybody's disconnected, I think it's 10 minutes, and the server automatically goes down.
Yeah.
It will go up when you want to play again, like in a week or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But did you actually working the cloud services the way you wanted, or did you create any of your own software to do things for you?
Oh no. Like yeah. There is pretty good amount of software, and like there's a lot of optimization that goes into it because like I'm scheduling within 2 minutes, with 2 to 3 minutes, but I have to like load up. The game starts completely, so it's like provisioned from the bottom. So that takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of tweaking. There's a lot of tweaking there. So that software layer is something that just orchestrates kind of the whole thing. So it's not like I can move between whatever cloud provider. It's more about delivering like the experience and the continuity of it. Yeah.
So you kind of wrote proprietary software for yourself to facilitate what you do then, right? Or
Yeah, and that expanded into a product. Yeah.
One thing I noticed when I was looking at the site, you have what, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you actually I think added one recently because you have Valheim, Factorio, Satisfactory, Pal World, Enshrouded, and Project Zomboid. So, what determines how many games you want to add to the list, so to speak?
People on Discord. it's like at the level of Valheim and Factorio, I was good. Now Satisfactory, we play a bit of Satisfactory with my group, but at a point of Valheim Factorio, I was all good. But yeah, the rest is people in Discord yapping way too much, and when they do that, usually I have to add it.
I think Marek, you possibly answer my next question then. Which when Gray was reading out the titles there, he missed out a very important title. But
No, he
it's
didn't.
probably because you don't support it. Shut up, Matt. I know you live. And that was, I'm a big fan of, I still follow it, even though I don't play it much. Rust. It's a very popular kind of multiplayer game, but it's very toxic and very polarizing. I guess a lot of your guys don't actually play that game in Discord, hence why you don't support it.
I played a bit of Rust. So it's also like I'm checking, like it started with Valheim, the rest is Valheim and Factorio because I won it. But the rest is kind of like I said, it's more of a like, the initial point was like always pretty much people in Discord, but also like I'm usually investigating whenever somebody says it. So like say Minecraft, I'm not really interested because Minecraft, people play all these versions of Minecraft, and it's really hard to cater to those people because they're playing some like Java versions, or like there's at least 10 or 20 different versions of Minecraft. So Minecraft alone, and there are dedicated hostings towards Minecraft.
Yeah, because there's 20 to 30 million players, so it's like they're taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
So
well, if I guess the reason why I was asking that is like if we, let's say if we wanted to approach you and say, hey, Marek, we'd like to play Rust, is that a possibility? Or
in some time span, yeah, probably it is a possibility. I was thinking of Rust because like I scan the games. I usually go on Steam DB and I check for multiplayer games that are popular within last week, and that's how I usually, like once a month, I try to check, because some of these games like Enshrouded popped up suddenly on my radar and I added it.
Great
quickly.
game.
Yeah, it's really great.
Pal World, kind of the same. Like just people, so many people wanted this that it was difficult to deny. But with Rust, I did check and investigate because it's a big game. Like a lot of people play it, but I think with Rust, a lot of people are doing like the static servers that for a month, because a lot of people have huge groups and people join in or leave. They don't have game sessions. With Valheim, it's pretty obvious that people play it like in game sessions, that you have a couple of people and you play for 3 hours and then you don't play at all for another week. But with
Marek.
Rust, sorry.
So Paul, Don, apologies. That's a very good shout about. I never thought of that about how people play that game as opposed to other games, because a standard vanilla wipe in Rust is 1 month. You can have less. You can have it a week, 2 weeks, but a lot of people have it vanilla and it's a month. That wouldn't be very practical for your pay as you go kind of method online. So
like I have a pricing calculator, and it's kind of like a really large price once you go like towards like insane numbers. So you say you're playing 10 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
I have people who like play, then they leave, like they play for 10 hours a day for like 2 weeks or something like that, and then they leave and they don't play anymore. But I have people who are playing that I even talked with them, like it doesn't make sense anymore. You should just have a normal server.
Would it not make more sense then? I'm just coming out with ideas there that I love the idea of pay as you go kind of thing. That's kind of genius actually. For games that, say, me and the boys wanted to jump on for, say, I don't know, argument's sake, a quick game of COD or something, because they're games where you'll play for a couple hours or a few hours and then you may not play again for a few weeks, as opposed to something like a Valheim or a Enshrouded, or like you say, Rust, where you would be playing a lot more. I guess, would it come down to your original answer of it's what the people want in the Discord, really, at the end of the day?
Yeah, generally, like, because like people will also, I divide games in general by the multiplayer experiences by, so there's like games with integrated multiplayer experience, and League of Legends, StarCraft, things like that, where you have a lobby, and the server infrastructure is usually delivered by the game producers, right? And then there are games which are typically on the independent side, so that's your Valheim, Factorial, and games like that. And they don't have. Some of them might have now like decent enough size to deliver multiplayer experience, but they usually also started with a just dedicated server and suggestion that you can get a PC box and run a server on it, but most people don't, so they buy the hosting, and this is just yet another optimization on the buy the hosting kind of thing.
Cool. Anything else, boys? I know, Matt, you had like 10 million questions. Feel free to ask the man a couple more that tickle your fancy.
Yeah, I'll just take a week to get through these, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Part one.
Yeah, part one, that's it. So one of them was probably reaches out from what Trev was saying there. Is there any games that you'd like to add to your servers in the future, or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't have good answer. There was something like the 7 Days to Die. People were. I have
That's a good game.
Yeah, I have a short list of games that people were suggesting to me. But then there's also like, I have a day job for 4 days a week, and I have other things. So it's also kind of like in between there. The goal is to be annoying in Discord, and if you have a game that you want,
awesome. I can be very
start
annoying.
being annoying. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, nice.
And we kind of understand that, because at one point we actually had 3 different podcasts running, and there was so much to do, we didn't have a life anymore, so we had to start going. Let's just like concentrate on our main one, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So I get it. You got to have some kind of relative life or whatever.
What else have you got, Mr. Matt?
Another one is mostly to do with security and technical features. So to do with backup systems, snapshotting and what you use to help with DDoS protection.
DDoS protection, that's a good shout, mate.
So whether it's built-in security or you have your own independent security that you use.
I buy hardware from cloud providers, so they provide certain securities, etc. But like Gamehole in general, by design, even if somebody like has your server, your IP address, just because like you can stop it and start it, and it will start on a new IP address. The DNS, so the thing that you input, will stay the same. But it's kind of pointless to chase the servers that are going up and down. So like DDoS is dangerous in terms of like websites that are websites or hosts on the internet that are always there. But if you just play for 2 hours, 3 hours, how unlucky you would have to be to actually be part of an attack that would have to be scoped, etc. Plus, cloud providers are kind of defending against the general practices of like scouting and trying to do weird stuff with the host.
I was thinking if you, and I hope this does happen to you, if you expand and you get many more people interested and you want to make it bigger or whatever, can you scale up easily if that happens? Or
if I scale up, my cloud provider probably is sufficiently larger to handle more. Not probably, I'm like fairly sure. Yeah.
Nice. Would you like to do this as a full-time job potentially down the line? I mean, it's a hobby, it's an interest, so I'd like to think it's like your baby and you would like to do it full-time maybe.
There's like, it's priced nicely. So with priced nicely comes the fact that it's like not generating a lot of revenue. I like it's not generating any revenue. Like any revenue that I have, I just usually pour it into ads or some other ways of promotion. It's just a different feeling. Like here, if you help somebody and fix something, you have kind of like direct relation with that customer, and it's pretty great. Like people sending me emails that they had a fun Christmas because they could play with the family Valheim. It's pretty great. It gets you going.
It's always fun if you can get a personal satisfaction out of it. And like you mentioned with the person that played at Christmas time, that makes a lot of sense because they don't have that kind of time, so they just want to come on and play and then be done, and so forth. And your prices are really good. You probably can even stand to raise your prices some, but they're really, really good. So I don't see where anybody could argue. Have you had any problems or typical problems, I guess, with latency or maybe, things kind of stuttering out on you or anything like that?
Okay, I will get again into technicalities. Generally, yes, but a lot of the stuff, like there was a lot of stuff, especially in Enshrouded. Some of it was also in Parallel World, and people are complaining about, like doing some complaining about latency. But then when you check, it's actually a lot of the times it's the game server that's just misbehaving and not utilizing the resources, and it appears as lags, but these very often are not lags. So like hardware-wise or network-wise, I think like that there were some outages in the 3 years that probably 10 hours, like overall outages.
Nice.
Yeah, but latency, I usually heard it, like somebody was suggesting an issue with latency, and whenever I investigated, it was usually something else. Either the game was misbehaving or somebody was behind like a university firewall. Once I was debugging some Korean guy who was in university and he couldn't connect. It was weird until we've reached that, like, okay, so you're on university network, so that's like pretty much maybe the reason, right, why you cannot connect. Yeah.
University networks like Yeah, it's like one guy with a computer turned on.
Yeah, I was like, you should be studying, my friend, not connected to play games. But yeah.
Matt, you have any other questions out of your
Yeah,
list you want to ask?
that leads on to another good one, which is how do you handle customer support and troubleshooting?
Discord.
So,
But you
yeah,
can send
so
an
just
email.
Yeah,
But Discord is just really good for it. Like
it's very handy. Yeah.
that's back and forth, etc. I also do email, but email I maybe check once a day, and I usually don't have to check once a day because like it's much slower. Like once a week would probably suffice, but yeah, still.
Yeah, nice.
Why don't
handy.
you give out your Discord in case somebody wants to join and ask questions and whatnot?
It's on the website, on the gameho.io website. I don't
like
have a
it. I like
fancy.
it.